relatively quick pace here. Bernal, a lot of open series success. One thing that has eluded him the entire time, though, is a win.
Yep.
He's gotten very close for a couple of runner-up finishes. Right now, he's getting beaten down with a batter skull with a GT on it.
These are the two players I think of the most when I think of players who like just kind of generic control decks in Legacy. They brew different from week to week. Joe's always playing with Stoneforge Mystic, but you know the specifics change all the time. Rudy very much the same. Rudy has occasionally dabbled with Sneak and Show, but for the most part, he feels comfortable just with blue card drawing and counter spells. Stoneforge Mystic as well.
Here's Batter Skull. Force a will that. Absolutely not.
So now the tempo of the game has shifted very much into Joe's favor now that the Batter Skull is out of the equation. I don't know if Rudy has a second copy in his deck or sideboard. Sometimes we see people do this. Brian Bronduin, most notably. He has the one Batter Skull in the main, and there are 0 on the sideboard. So that phase of the game is over.
Sometimes you'll even find a card like Academy Runes.
Yep.
Maybe hiding out. So that started to trend downward quite a bit. We're going to go at Briksza's way now. He's got Nylon in his hand. Picked up a copy of Dig Through Time, it looks like. He'll pass the turn back. Time to pick up Batter Skull. And it looks like in response, we might see Dig Through Time get cast here. Both these players moving at a very fast pace.
And this is the first time I've ever seen someone splitting the difference on these two cards. Rudy here with a main deck Treasure Cruise and 2 copies of Dig Through Time.
We got to find out if it's good or not for the GP next week.
And that's exactly what Rudy told me. He said, still in the testing process, not sure which one's better. Want to try them both.
Dig Through Time looks pretty good here.
Treasure Cruise probably would have also looked pretty good there.
That's fair. That's fair. Force of Will and True Nemesis are the cards he picked up, so not bad at all. There's Naird Mesa.
And is Joe going to wait here and try to pick a spot where he has some counterspell backup to try to redeploy here?
I thought the coast might be clear, but Dig Through Time definitely changed some things. Swords of Plowshares, Lightning Bolt, and Batter Skull are the cards in Bernal's hand. There's the Batter Skull. I do wonder if Briksza will let this resolve.
I think the answer is most likely no.
Yep, it's a Force of Will, so absolutely not. Back to Rudy we go. He'll draw a card, copy of Brainstorm. I like slamming the True Nemesis, but he's going to cast Brainstorm first.
I would have sat on this Brainstorm. I feel like not a lot to be gained right now by casting it.
Yeah. Because what cards do you want to put back here? He's got Council's Judgment, True Name, the Containment Priest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the new one from the Commander product, and then Vendilion Click. A card I actually like a lot, and we'll talk about that. Trust me, as it has a lot of applications for next weekend. Here's in the draw step. Vendilion Click. Let's see what's going on. Force of Will and Swords of Plowshares here. You see Lightning Bolt took care of the Vendilion Click with the trigger on the stack. So the question now is, does Rudy want to take one of these cards? The answer is yes. Force of Will is going to go to the bottom. Mystery card coming.
Yeah, he just wants to clear a path here for his True Name Nemesis.
Yep. Well, Joe drew a copy of Stoneforge Mystic. Now it's time to search. There's GT. That's a Containment Priest. And Bernal's going to look at his Source of Plowshares here. I think he may fire that off, and he will. He's going to sacrifice Naird Mesa and get a land here, so Rudy will gain a little bit of life.
I really like how conscious Joe is of the time. You know, he's always playing quickly and shortcutting as much as possible.
There's True Name Nemesis. Equip it up.
Now Joe needs a lot of help.
Well, we've seen this combo before.
A Council's Judgment or something like that. Otherwise, this runs away with the game very quickly. Especially since Joe does not have his Batter Skull available to him anymore.
Well, time to equip the GTA on Joe's side. Rudy will draw a copy of Council's Judgment, a card he knew was there. Let's see if he wants to fire it off or not.
I think that I would just fire this off right now because if something goes wrong somehow, you can use the Council's Judgment to clean things up.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it anyway, you might as well do it now.
I'm going to clear the creature out of the way. Draw a card, Swords of Plowshares, in we go. True Name is rocking and rolling with the GT. 2 spells here in Briksza's hand. Doesn't really have much of a reason to cast anything at this point. Can argue with the about the Council Judgment if you want to cast it or not, but I think he's in a pretty good spot here. And it looks like Joe actually just drew a copy of Trinity Nemesis, so maybe better to save it. Though he is removing cards from his graveyard, so perhaps I'm incorrect about that.
Yep.
Looks like we're cruising for bruising.
Well, even drawing 3 here may not be enough since, you know, Rudy's board is just so advanced. Joe's way behind on life total.
Picked up a copy of Trinity Nemesis and Elemental Blast as far as relevant cards are concerned. There's True Name. Briksza attacking. We'll probably do it when we come back.
So right now it looks like we're going back here, allowing Joe to equip here. A little bit of shortcutting here.
It looks like players agree on the game state at this point. Now there's a V-click. I think Joe probably has to blast this. But I like this play from Rudy because he's basically saying if the coast is clear for the Council's Judgment. Now it is, of course.
Exactly.
He says, get that off the table. Bernal at 5, Briksza got a very healthy 28, and Bernal's going to need a big draw now.
Unless he has a sweeper or something.
Yeah, if he has Council's Judgment of his own. I think that's what he's going to need is he's taking a look at his graveyard and seeing what he can do. He does have a fetch land in play, so he might want to sacrifice that. Yeah, and he's going to sacrifice the fetch land just to raise the percentages ever so slightly that he draws the right card. His top card would have been a Jace. So there is a Plains.
Even something that can blow up the Jitte gets him at least another draw step, but I don't know if long-term he has a solution to this.
Yep. We'll see what Joe's able to peel here as he is facing lethal next turn. Again, has 2 lands in hand. One-time dealer? Source of Plowshares, no time dealer. Rudy Briksza going to win this match over Joe Bernal, 2-0. His version of Jeskai Stoneblade takes down Bernal's, and he's 6-0.
A lot of oddballs, and both of these players with a lot of main deck red elemental blast, which might be informative for the Grand Prix as well. That's one of the more straightforward ways to fight Treasure Cruise. If you don't feel like fighting someone's graveyard, you can just red blast it.
Yeah, I think it's a card that we're going to see a lot of at the Grand Prix, be it main deck or sideboard. You know, you think of main deck red blast effects, you think of Joe Lissette's Miracles deck. You know, that's the first real place that we saw that become something that people were comfortable doing. Is that's a large step, right? Playing that sort of effect main deck when people can be playing decks like Maverick and Death and Taxes and Goblins, I suppose, and Burn. But this is something that, with Treasure Cruise being such a big card, we could see more players move that way.
Exactly, and with Brainstorm plus Shuffle effects,